Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our Premier League Weekend Preview Show. Yeah, we haven't actually done this in a while, now that I think about it, but it's great to be back doing this, and it's great to have Gaurav back on the show. Gaurav, welcome once again. It's nice to have you.
It's all it's always good to be on the show, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we had you for the review for last week's. Now we're going to have you for the preview for this one. So we'll see what has changed the last 4 days. And we've got Sagar back on the show. So, Sagar, first time in 2022 that we're having you on the show. Always a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, hi Rohit, always a pleasure.
Yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are excited, but we've got some big games this week to got this weekend to cover actually. So we'll get into it. We'll jump into it. Now I don't like to start usually with United, but we'll start with that because there's a lot of breaking news around them, and we kind of gonna have to talk about it. So I'll come to you, Saga, first on this one. Obviously, the big issue right now is the debate between Ronaldo and Maguire, and what's going to happen with the captaincy. What do you make of the whole situation? Number one, and number two, do you think Maguire should be stripped of the cap or should be removed as captain of the club?
Yes, I definitely feel he should be stripped of the captaincy because uh, that won't be nice to bench your captain. So if he is removed from the captaincy, at least the manager doesn't have to find any excuse to play him in the starting 11. So yes, I would really love to give him a break, not maybe permanently strip him of the captaincy, but yes, he needs some time off, I feel. And if there is someone who needs to be given the captaincy, I would love to see Bruno or maybe De Gea to don the captain's armband.
Hmm. See, that is an interesting point, there, Saga, because Gaurav, I think the consensus right now, at least as far as this report is concerned, is that Ronaldo doesn't want Maguire to be captain, but I think the consensus that maybe Ronaldo should be captain. Do you see that as a good move? A, removing Maguire from captaincy and then be giving it to Ronaldo. Do you see either of those as good moves, or do you think that that might be detrimental to what is already a really a delicate situation, for lack of a better word?
Definitely. I think Maguire he's already short of confidence. The way he's been playing and the criticism around him, and if you remove him from the captaincy as well, I don't think whether he'll make back in the team. Like if remove him as a captain, then you probably drop him to the bench as well.
Yeah.
So ideally, I don't think that's the right decision, but you never know what will happen. If he's removed as a captain and the captaincy is been given to Ronaldo, then it's even worse.
Is it?
I think.
Yeah, I mean, see, here's what I think of the whole situation. I mean, one, if you bench Maguire, then he's not the captain anyway, because he's not going to be on the field. He's not going to have that armband. I do think the issue for me is we rarely see captains being stripped of captaincy. I mean, Aubameyang was, one case, I think, with disciplinary issues, but you rarely see someone being stripped of captaincy for not playing well. That doesn't usually happen. Captains don't play, they don't get stripped of the captaincy. I do feel that he should not be captain. I would like Ronaldo to be captain, not because I think he's a very good leader, not because I think United will suddenly win the Premier League if he's captain. I don't think it will change anything. But the good thing about Ronaldo being captain is I don't see United making the Champions League this season, or I don't see them making top four. I just don't see it. So Ronaldo will leave at the end of the season if once United are in the Europa League or the Conference League. They might even not be in Europe at all, but whatever. And then you leave. And what that does is for the new manager, he doesn't have to worry about, and he can name his captain. He doesn't have to worry about being thrust a captain from the previous regime. Like for Ralph, he couldn't change the captaincy because Maguire was there. He wasn't going to change it. But for the new manager, he can say, all right, previous captain is gone. I can decide who I want to be the captain. So that's why I feel Ronaldo is a good choice for that reason. Because then the burden of picking a new captain is not like of keeping the same captain doesn't exist. So the way I think about it, I think that's a good idea just from that selfish perspective. But then the new manager can decide, well, do I want Maguire to be captain? Do I want Bruno? Whereas if you have Maguire as your captain, and then the new manager comes in and he goes, well, I want to change my captain, but I can't because he's still at the club. So anyway, that's my take on it. I think I don't see it changing anything much. I don't see Ronaldo becoming captain is suddenly going to make United world class or whatever. But anyway,
I honestly think, Rohit, it should be a player's choice. Who should be the captain and not exactly the managers. Look how it is a City right now that Pep has given complete freedom to the players. They have to pick their captain, and we have kind of like floating captains. Sometimes it's Fernandinho, sometimes it's De Bruyne, sometimes it's Diaz.
Yeah, see, that
Like
works in a team like City where the manager has full control, right? The
Okay.
way that, and Paul Ince actually said this, that the way that the captain is basically the manager's voice on the pitch. The manager tells you what you want to do, and the captain kind of tells the players what to do. If you United, the players, they are, pretty much they all brands. They're not players, they're brands, and they all each have their personal interests. And if you ask the players who should be the captain, they might not choose the right person. They might just choose somebody who they like, right? Not somebody
Yeah.
who's going to tell them.
Yeah, and
That's
the
the problem.
problem is,
Yeah.
I think there's not a perfect captain material in that United
There
team right
isn't.
now.
There isn't.
know.
No, that's for sure. There isn't, and that's why I said it's better to give it to Ronaldo, because then at the end of the season, the manager can decide who I want to be my captain. It might be someone from out of the club as well. He might bring in, in an ideal world, if Eric Ten Hag is hired, spoiler, he's not going to be hired. But if he is hired, he might say, "I want De Ligt. Let's go and bring De Ligt into the club, and maybe then he'll make him his captain." None of this will happen. This is fantasy world. I will then wake up from my dream. When this happens, I will wake up from my dream. But sorry, you were saying something before Gaurav interrupted you. So sorry about that. I don't know if you remember your thought process. Sagar, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I thought you were saying something before Gaurav said something. So
No, yeah, my just whole point about stripping Maguire of captaincy was, till the time he's the club captain, you can't bench him.
mhm.
And considering his recent performances, and not exactly recent, since a long time, so he doesn't deserve to be in the playing 11, at least for foreseeable time. So I think that's the only reason where I'm asking.
Yeah.
I wish he should be stripped of the captaincy. Otherwise, I don't think changing the captain would make much of a difference right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you take him off the captaincy, you can then drop him, because that I don't think people care much about him being captain or not, because if he doesn't play, he's not going to be captain anyway. But I think
Yeah,
I think a lot of people feel that as long as he's captain, you can't drop him, and that's the problem. But I mean that's
exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the game, because there is a game this Sunday for United. Let's just talk about it as well, since we're on the topic. Leeds are in bad form. They're pretty much in bad shape. But this is a chance for them, because United always give chances to every team. Do you see? I mean, the one thing that leads, I think that worse than anybody else, is they make United's midfield look competent. They're one of the few teams that can make United's midfield look competent. And they're going to be missing a lot of players. Do you see them being able to maybe contain United? Do you see them because they're missing Calvin Phillips, Stuart Dallas is a doubt. I think Bamford is out long term as well. They're missing quite a lot of players. How do you see that there's a structure that they can use to maybe contain them?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they are missing some important players, and their defense has been really leaky as well this season. Like player kind of looks like they're exhausted by playing that high tempo last season. So I honestly don't think they'll contain United, and most probably it should be a win for you, Manchester United.
Yeah, the only threatening point though is if Maguire does play, then Daniel James plays as a central striker these days. And that is a match that is made in Daniel James's heaven. That is a match made in Daniel James's heaven, because all he has to do is just take the ball, and then Maguire will be backpedaling, and he can just have shots. I mean, that's going to be a problem. I saw that in terms of the starting lineup. I mean, obviously the key issue. I mean, in midfield we know what it's going to be. It's probably going to be McTominay, Pogba, and Bruno. That's probably going to be his three. He might start Fred, but the front three though, you see when maybe Ronaldo picks himself right now. But then your two white players. Who do you see? Who do you want to see as your two white players in this one?
I think Elanga and probably, yeah, Rashford. We don't have much of choices.
Or you wouldn't
So
do
maybe
Sancho?
Sancho?
Sancho, I would love to see him in the second half. Maybe coming on as an impact sub. We also have a game coming up midweek against Atletico. So maybe I would like to see Rashford starting, so that we don't have to start him against Atletico.
Well, I mean, yeah, so interesting. You know what? It makes sense from a certain perspective that I think about it. If Rashford was in form, or at least in somewhat form, I think I would have been said yes. But I don't think Rashford should start. I think Sancho should start both games. You start this one and Atletico, because I don't see any reason why Rashford should start the game.
Yeah, ideally he should start both the games, but I would want him to save some of his energy
He's not
for
played
the
much.
midweek.
Sagar, he's been rested for the first half of the season, so it's okay. Sancho will be fine.
Yeah.
I think.
That is what I was going to say. He hasn't played, that much that he will be exhausted at this point. So definitely, I think it will be Sancho, Ronaldo, and probably
Haaland.
Rashford on the right wing.
Rashford,
Don't know.
yeah, well, the Rashford does have a chance here because Leeds do play a high line and Rashford can counter, so he does have an opportunity here. I would like to see Alex Telles. I mean, I'd be interested if he starts Alex Telles as a left winger because I thought he looked pretty good. I know he's a left back, but he looked okay as a left winger and he was actually looking a little bit more threatening than both Alanga and Rashford. So it'll be interesting to see what Rangnick does. It's funny as well, and on comment on this, but we signed Sancho for 74 million pounds because they need a right winger, and now he's just become our best left winger. So, it's like we can't catch a break on that right wing. No matter who we sign, we just can't find a person to play on that right hand side.
Actually, yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, maybe they can try Telles on the right wing because he is left-footed, so maybe they can try him there and see if he can, along his process, he can maybe put in a few balls. I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's move on. That's enough for Manchester United. We don't want to dwell too much on mid-table teams, so we'll move on from this one. We'll actually talk about the biggest game of the weekend because we'll start with. But yeah, you know what? No, let's start with West Ham against Newcastle. And Gaurav, it looks like Kieran Trippier is going to be out for the season. Do you see that as a problem? Is that a big miss for Newcastle, or do you think they should still have enough to survive relegation?
Definitely, man. Definitely. I think he has been winning games for them, last couple of games, and he has been probably, arguably, the best signing of the winter transfer window for any team. So they're definitely going to miss him, and I think this could be the final nail in the coffin. They are going down.
Oh my God! Oh, that's a big. Oh, actually, this is a prediction. But speaking of prediction, you forgot to do it. Sagar, what's your score prediction for United against Leeds? What's your score prediction? I forgot to do that here.
I think it would be 2-2.
2-2.
I'm expecting Dan James to score at least one goal or maybe a brace against us.
Yeah, 2-2 with the 90th, with the 50th minute equalizer from Leeds, and then United just I don't even want to think about it. Gaurav, what's your prediction?
I think 2-2 United.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bonkers game. I think it's going to be something like 4-3 or 5-3. Like, I just have a feeling that it's going to be that sort of game because both sides really attack a lot. But the win will be Leeds and not United. It'll be 5-3 to United. I'm going to go 5-3 to Leeds. I just feel like it's going to be one of those bonkers games that Leeds play. And I just have it just to me, it just feels like United at the moment they're not in the right headspace. And so, as soon as they go level or if they go down, they're going to lose their heads and they're probably going to end up losing a game that they should win. So that's what I think. I think it's only 5-3 to Leeds.
We'll score some goals in the first half since we are first half FC. So and maybe in the second half we'll start conceding a lot.
Last game it was second half. So I hope Rangnick has learned that it's better to play.
I don't know why, but United look more nervous when they're one goal up.
Yeah, well, because
actually,
get that second goal. There's always that issue, right?
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, hopefully Rangnick has learned that it's better to play. If you're going to only play one good half of football, then you better play the better half should be the second half, and not the first. There's no point playing a good first half if you play a bad second half. So at least you can recover in the second half. Anyway, getting back to the West Ham Newcastle game. So West Ham, they seem to be doing all right. They had the midweek off, so that was obviously a good thing for them. Do you see them slow? I mean, at the moment, they are kind of struggling a little bit. They managed to get a last-minute equalizer against Leicester. Do you think now we'll start to see the effects of the Europa League because we're going to start that campaign as well soon? Do you think that the effect of that campaign now is going to affect the top 4 challenge?
Yes, definitely. The Europa campaign will certainly have its effect. And now is the time, when we'll actually see those effects. So maybe it could prove a bit problematic for them, this Europa campaign.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
even in the Europas. Sorry.
They win it. They don't need to worry. They just need to win the Europa League. They don't need to worry about anything. They're the Champions League next year. That's about it, right?
Frankly speaking, I don't see them going, much far, even in the Europa. But let's hope for the best. It's always good to see some English club progressing. So
well, to be fair, I mean, if you were to go on one game, I don't think Dortmund, Napoli, or Barcelona look that good. If you're just to go on one game, then neither of them look really that good. So there's an opportunity. We never know. But anyway, let's move. I mean, let's go. Yeah, I mean, Gaurav, what's your score prediction for this one? It's kind of debating we should do it, but yeah.
I think 3-1 to West Ham.
West Ham, Sagar?
2-1 to West Ham.
Yeah, I think it will be something. Yeah, I don't think West Ham score a lot of goals. I think probably 2-0. My guess is 2-0. To West Ham. 2-0 to West Ham. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. All right, Arsenal Brentford. Let's talk about that one. It's actually a long time since Arsenal last played, isn't it? They didn't play last week. I think it's been 2-3 weeks since they last played. And in that time, everybody else has been dropping points, giving them the opportunity. So, I mean, Gaurav, do you think they'll be well rested, or do you think they'll be rusted? What do you think is going to be Arsenal's mindset coming into this game? Because I've played for a very long time.
It's very hard to comment on that, right? Because their form has been patchy, Arsenal's. I mean, like they have been playing, really good in one game, and the next game they aren't that good. So they had a lot of time recently. So I expect them to be well prepared. So, but you never know. Playing after a gap of 2 weeks is always tough.
Yeah, it's been, they haven't played. So basically, between Jan 23rd to now, which is about basically a month, they've just played one game, which was on Feb 10th. That was against Wolves. So that's literally they played one game in almost a month. So,
Actually, the start of 2022 hasn't been very good for them. I think that was the first game they won against Wolves. And
yeah, I believe so. Yes, it might have been. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first win of 2022, and I think that was the only game where they didn't get any red card.
No, they didn't get a red card in that
they
one.
got a red card. Yeah. So that is another issue which they need to address.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, that's an interesting point though, Sagar. I mean, we talk about disciplinary issues. Is it a disciplinary issue? Is it referees? I mean, the fans will say that the referees are against Arsenal. Someone says disciplinary issues. I mean, this is something that's been going on for almost 2 years now. Is there a cure for this, or is it simply that the kind of players that Arsenal have, that that this is bound to happen and they just have to live with it?
Yes, maybe there's a slight possibility that Arsenal, some of the Arsenal players, they have that reputation, especially Shaka and all. So maybe that could have some bias in the mind of any referee. But yeah, the refereeing overall has been slightly questionable. So I would give them a benefit of doubt.
Yeah, that makes sense. Gaurav, speaking of so Brentford did beat Arsenal, by the way. They're going for a double here as well, a league double over Arsenal. They actually did very well in that first game when I think Arsenal didn't have their best team yet. That they were still struggling to figure out that combination. They've got it now. Do you still see Ivan Toney as being a threat to the Arsenal defense, or do you think that they should have enough now to cope? They've got that experience to cope now.
If you see the team on the paper, they have enough to cope against Toney, but you never know with the Arsenal. That's the problem. You don't know how many players are going to get a red card.
I think we've lost Gaurav for a second there.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll there we go. You see. Oh, there you go. Sorry, we lost you there for a second after you said red card. So.
Yeah. So I was saying that they have that, I think as Sagar said, Xhaka related problem, and probably that rubs off to other players as well. When you have young players, they that sort of attitude and that rubs off to you. So that is an issue, and you never know with Arsenal, how good they are going to play, how the defense is going to hold up. But I think they have enough in their team to keep Brentford at bay.
Yeah. I guess Sagar is, it's a bit of an obvious question, but still, I think a lot of players left the club. They didn't. I don't think they bought anyone as such. Do you feel that all of these departures have made Arsenal weaker, or has it actually made them stronger now as a team?
As far as defense and midfield is concerned, that won't be of much problem to them. But yes, the lack of a striker, especially they have not signed any replacement for Aubameyang. So that could hurt their chances in the last 5 to 6 games, maybe, where they really need to, score. So that could cause them some problem, I feel, towards the end of the season.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think Aubameyang was scoring a lot of goals anyway. So I don't think they'll miss his output. They won't miss his output.
Yeah, but they saved a lot of money, in offloading him. So they could have bought a striker.
Yeah, that's what I feel. Fair, they did try. They just were trying for targets that were probably never going to come to an Arsenal. No disrespect to Arsenal. Just not the kind of players that come to that club. So yeah, that's just something. But anyway, that is what's his score prediction for this one?
2-0 to Arsenal.
Arsenal. All right. So 2-0 to Arsenal. Sagar, what's your prediction?
I think it would be 1-1.
1-1. Oh, okay, 1-1. That's a very bold prediction. Not said with any bias at all.
No, actually not. Yeah,
Is that,
and if, just a question: is Ericsson is he available for this game?
I don't know if he'll start, but or play, but he's available to play, I guess.
Okay,
I don't know
because last match he was not match fit, right?
yeah, I guess it'll still take some time. I don't know if he's going to start today, but or this game.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, 1-1. Is that the result, Saga, that you think will happen, or is that the one that you're willing to happen, that you want it to happen 1-1?
No, I am. If I would love to see Arsenal lose, but I know that won't happen. So 1-1 is something which I feel is a genuine possibility. Let's see. Let's see.
Well, I mean, yeah, well, it's got to.
I have been wrong most of the times, so let's see.
Well, anyway, that's something we'll have to keep an eye on to see what happens there. Anyway, let's move on to Liverpool against Norway City. That's a massive game as well for Liverpool, but an easy one as well. They need to. I mean, Gaurav, they need to keep winning. Basically, there's the equation is simple. They just need to keep winning to keep pressure on City at this point.
Yeah. I hope they lose, but that's not going to happen. So
and it's a toughest question to ask Gaurav, right? I want them to lose, but they have to keep winning. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see them losing this one, and losing is not an option for them right now. Especially the kind of form City have been showing last 3-4 weeks. So, yeah.
Diogo Jota will be missing from this game. Is that? At this point, I think it's fair to say that it's a big miss, isn't it, for Liverpool to not have him, because I think he's become such a critical player, Sagar, for Liverpool, and they'll miss him, and they might not even make the League Cup final, which I think would be the bigger problem. I think they can probably manage without him for this one, but not having him for the League Cup final would probably be a bigger miss.
Yeah, I think he'll be missed because he was in a good run of form. But they have both their superstars back, so they will compensate for all the absences.
Yeah, they will compensate. I think compensate is an understated word.
Actually.
I think it's the other way around. But speaking of this, Gaurav, because this is actually very interesting, what I noticed. Because I think at the start of the season, there was some talk that Salah is 30. He is now 30. Mane is there was 30 as well. Firmino as well is around hovering around that age. So it is not necessarily an aging front line, but it is a little bit of the one that's getting along in years. And now suddenly 6 months later, they've got Luis Diaz, they've got Diogo Jota. They were very close to getting Fabio Carvalho. I'm sure they'll get him in the summer later on. So it looks like Klopp has already started planning, like succession planning. Like he's already got that going now, where he's saying, okay, I need to decrease the average age of my forward line. I'm doing it, and I think he's done it pretty much successfully. We don't even realize it, but seamlessly transitioning to that.
Yeah, he has to. He has to. Like, I'm a little, have this feeling that Salah might leave, after one more year or so. He might want to play in Spain or somewhere else. You never know. He hasn't signed a new contract as well, I think.
Yeah,
he has 2 years remaining on his contract. So you always have to plan for the future. And I think Klopp has seen how City has invested. We signed Bernardo when we really didn't need him, probably as a replacement for Silva. So he basically following the same thing, and I think he's doing it right. He's getting quality signings, younger players.
That's what good managers are supposed to do. And Klopp and Pep, they have shown all the clubs how to proceed, keeping in mind the present as well as the future. So yeah, and they do their job without making much of noise. So that's what I like, that quality about Klopp especially.
Yeah. Well, Chelsea have done that as well pretty well as well. They brought in Sarr now, Reece James, Chilwell, they're already pretty much still young. They still have a lot of time ahead, so they've done that as well. The midfield, yes, their midfield probably is one area that they might need to invest soon, because Kovacic, Jorginho, and Conte are not getting any younger, but they do have Gilmore, they do have Gallagher coming through, so they have enough there as well. So, it's it's how good clubs operate, but unfortunately, Sagar, you made the point about not making noise, and I know what you were talking about. But if you don't make the noise, then you don't get the social media clicks. Those are important, my friend. We need the retweets, we need the likes.
Yeah,
Who cares
we are
about? Who cares
united.
about
We are more
winning
we
trophies?
are
It's
more
about the
concerned
likes.
about those things. Yeah,
Those are
off
what
the field
matter for
issues
certain
are of
clubs.
primary importance.
Yes, unfortunately. Anyway, but anyway, getting back to Liverpool, another player who actually has has also impressed and has been from the youth, not just in the system, but he's been young as well, is Harvey Elliot, someone who we actually thought he would be a winger, but he's now turned out to be a really good central midfielder. Again, a player, Sagar, who's come pretty much out of nowhere, really, but has staked his claim and has taken his spot in the first team.
Yeah, and he was unfortunate to have that injury. I think he was ruled out for about 3 to 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
3 months. Yeah, so he was just getting into the groove, and unfortunately that injury happened. But yes, he's back now, and I think he played the last game,
yeah,
if
yeah. He
I'm
played
not wrong.
against
Yeah,
Inter Milan. He did play against Inter Milan. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it will be a good boost for Liverpool to have him back.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I guess the next step will be to decrease the age for the midfield, and then probably they'll move on to the defense. So they'll do it in stages, I guess. They'll probably do this. I mean, I guess the midfield as well. If you look at Henderson, is probably quite old as well, as is
Fabinho.
Fabinho. Yeah, Fabinho, and even Thiago is quite. He's almost 30, though he doesn't look it, but yeah, he's probably there. So yeah, they probably need something there as well. Anyway, oh yes, the thumbs up, yes, the thumbs up. But he's not thumbs up guy anymore. He actually does a little bit of stuff. So yeah, he's actually improved a lot. Anyway, Gaurav, a result. What do you think? Liverpool now, which
I think they're going to score a lot of goals. So probably 4-0 to Liverpool.
yeah, Sagar.
I'll go one up further. I think 5-0.
One goes 4, one goes 5. Should I go 6? You know what? No, I will go 5-1. I'll go 5-1. I'll give 1-2. I'll be positive for Norwich, and I'll say they'll score a goal against Liverpool. So yes, 5-1. That's good as it's going to get. But yeah, they're going to win. Liverpool are going to win. It's going to be that's just the way it goes. So yeah, let's move on. There's actually some very interesting games as well. Southampton Everton will be nice to watch, especially now with the Ralph Hasenhüttl has been linked with the United job. I think that's a pretty safe bet that will not happen. But he has been linked. Got Aston Villa against Watford. Again, I think Aston Villa one to watch out for next season. Then we've got Chelsea against Crystal Palace, and Chelsea world champions, club world champions.
Club world champions. Yeah.
Nice little break that they're coming back from. Saga, how much? I mean, it's hard to make to make of Chelsea, but surely the fact that Havertz and Lukaku found some goals against in the World Cup, I think that will help them in this going back in the season, because they need goals. Chelsea, one thing that they need is goals. They need goals from the front line.
They are actually getting goals, but not from Lukaku. Yeah, that would be
from the front line. They need goals from the front line. Yeah.
Yeah, actually the overall front line. So yes, that's obviously a big concern. But yeah, as long as the goals are coming, maybe from the defense or the midfield, that shouldn't that shouldn't be a problem for them.
Yeah, but they haven't been getting a lot of goals from the back line. Once James and Chilwell went down, they weren't getting goals from the wing backs. In the midfield, Conte is not really a goal scorer, neither is Kovacic. Jorginho scores penalties if he gets those, but otherwise nothing much. So
they are heavily reliant on Mount and Havertz of late to carry the entire goal scoring burden.
Yeah, for sure. Gaurav, do you see that as an area of concern? I mean, I know there's not much they can do now, but do you think that is something they would want to address in the summer to try to see? I don't know what they can do, because they just spent £100 million on the striker who wants to go back to Inter Milan already. I don't know. But anyway, do you see that as something that? But I don't know. Do you see that an area that could be addressed in the summer? Perhaps I don't know what they could do, but is there something that they would look to do in the summer to try to get more goals from the front line?
I honestly think they are not going to make a statement signing in that position, because you have Lukaku. Unless you sell him, you aren't going to sign a big name player, I think. And I think they've had this issue since Diego Costa left. They've never really had a reliant goal scorer up front, and most of the time the goals have been coming from the wings or the midfield or defense. So they might want to sort out that issue, but I don't know how they are going to do it.
One of the strikers who is on loan is doing good, right?
Yeah, Armando Roja.
Yeah, at
I think he still
Southampton.
needs some time, right? I don't think he's as clinical in front of goal yet. I think he needs that little bit more. I think he needs
But
one more
he
year.
he could be a decent backup to Lukaku, right?
He could, but I mean, yes, but what you'd
If he's
rather
ready
want is,
to if he's ready to be a backup, that's
yeah,
the
I feel he
or else
needs, I think he needs one more year where he can just play football, like play regularly. So maybe a Europa League team might be good for him to get some European action. So, but I that's my feeling. I don't know what you guys think, but I just feel he needs one more
But
year. But, sorry?
I think the problem is that you need someone to score goals if Lukaku is not firing, because he hasn't really, since he signed him. So that is the issue. Like, you should be having a good enough backup there. Probably like Giroud, they had Giroud, and I think he hasn't been, that famous or all. Like, he doesn't hold that stature, but he was really effective for Arsenal and even for Chelsea. So you probably need that kind of striker to have as a backup.
Yeah. The issue with having a backup striker who can also score goals is then the backup striker wants to be the starter, and then they leave. So it's hard to have a backup striker and keep them happy. It's very difficult to do that. So yeah, and you don't want to keep a young player because then they miss out on that development period, right? So it's always a
There was
tricky
a time. There was a time we had 4 strikers, right? Tevez, Balotelli, Aguero, and Checo.
Milan had that as well in the treble winning season. They had 4 strikers as well.
and now you have none, and see how many goals you're scoring.
Well, technically, he's counting Jesus as a striker, so they still have one. But I mean, now he's a winger. They're strikers because even Jesus realized that if I want to play, I can't be a striker because Pep doesn't play strikers. I have to become a winger if I want to start games. Because that's the only way I'm starting in Ziga. And if I'm a striker, he's not going to play me. So yeah, that's what it is. But I mean, there is a striker that's available. If anybody wants him, it goes by the name of Haaland. Somebody Germany's his team are going to be knocked out of the Europa League soon, probably. So yeah, I mean, he might be something.
He's going to City. He's going to City.
I
in the
definitely
summer.
think, Manchester City. Well, I mean, it just makes sense. If Madrid are signing Mbappe, I don't think they have the money to sign both Mbappe and Haaland. So yeah, it does all signs point to him going to Manchester City. Anyway,
Apparently, PSG have offered a 500,000 contract to a weekly contract to Mbappe. Let's see if he accepts or not.
yeah, well, I think Haaland will go. Well, I mean, Madrid will get at least one of the two. So if Mbappe is staying at PSG, then I think Madrid will sign Haaland because they will want.
Certainly.
But and as much as and I don't think City will want to do that kind of that one. They don't usually get into bidding wars. So if Madrid are in there, I don't think City will want to compete with that. Not that they can't, but I think they'll just want to avoid it. But anyway,
There have been really rumors, that some of the city, some of the famous city bloggers, that it is a done deal apparently, Haaland to City. Like, they have agreed everything and they're just waiting for the season to end. But I don't know how true that is. There's a guy who broke the, Bernardo Silva to City News when no one really knew that was happening, and he has just said that.
Well, yeah. So according to reports, Mbappe to Real is also done, right? So those are the reports that it's done. So if that is done, then then it makes sense that there's only 2 teams then who can afford Haaland, that's City and PSG. And I don't think he'll want to go to PSG right now. So I think he'll go to City. Yeah. And in which case we should probably just say goodbye to any hopes of anybody else winning any trophies in England, at least for the next 3 years, or however long he decides to say, because that's not going to happen. Anyway, we'll talk about City in a second, but let's get back to Chelsea against Palace. Gaurav, what do you think is going to be the score?
I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
I mean, speaking of that, actually, I did want to touch on Crystal Palace as well, because Vieira actually spoke about needing more goals from Wilfried Zaha. And Zaha is someone who always, whenever I've seen it, they always say he should be playing at a higher level. He should be playing at a higher level. And I just feel like he was priced out. Of course, Palace kept asking for 80 million pounds, which nobody was going to pay for him. So my question, I guess, Sagar, to you is, and I always ask this question: is he a player who has that higher level in him? Can he go up a level, or is this?
No, I don't think so. This is his ceiling. Yeah, he can do good at Crystal Palace, or maybe at clubs like West Ham or maybe Leicester, but not above that. I think he's good enough for mid-table teams, but certainly not the top 4 ones.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe you could try and move abroad. I don't know why people are so reluctant to. You could go to Sevilla, like Martial went to Sevilla. You could go to Sevilla or Valencia. Where you get to play some European football. Maybe the money part of it, you don't make as much money. But anyway, Sagar, what do you think is going to be the final score for this one?
I think Chelsea would win this, maybe 2-0.
2-0. Wow.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I mean, it's Vieira against Chelsea. Vieira doesn't like losing to Chelsea, so I'm sure he's going to do whatever it takes to try not to lose. It's hard to predict though. Crystal Palace are a very up and down team. I think they're very inconsistent. So I don't
They have
even.
not been on a good run of late, so
Yeah,
I'm giving a 2-0 to Chelsea. That's the reason.
Yeah, it's hard for me to predict. But you know what? I don't know. I mean, I think I'm going to go with Gaurav. I think it'll be a draw. I think it might be a 2-2 draw. That's what I'm going to go with. I think it'll be a draw because I just feel feeling that Chelsea will be a bit jet lagged as well from their excursions, and then Palace will be up for it. So yeah, it's
and playing at Sellers Park is always an issue.
Yeah, definitely difficult as well. Yeah, Sellers Park as well, never easy. All right, let's talk about the big one, City against Tottenham. Is it a big one? I don't know. Maybe it is. Tottenham, incredibly, if they beat City, they'll do the double over them. I mean, for all the things to talk about for a team, of all the teams that could do a double over City, I think that might be very embarrassing to have a double against Spurs. No disrespect to them. Well, yes, well, there's some disrespect there. But anyway, Gaurav, I mean, we'll start off with Spurs here because Conte again spoke about how it's a different model. He's not got the players. They let 4 players go. They got 2 players, and apparently Kulusevski and Bentancur, they're international players, but they are one for the future. I don't know how that works, but anyway, that's what he said. Do you think it is just mind games to try to take the pressure off of himself, of trying to qualify for top 4? Or do you think he's setting the stage to say, thank you very much, sayonara, I'm leaving in the summer? But, what do you, I mean, again, we spoke about this in the previous show, so we talked about Conte's mindset. And then again, he comes out with these statements. Is he setting the stage for something in the summer? Or do you think this is just his way of saying, I can't work with this team right now, so there's nothing to expect?
I think that's how he's always been, like very upfront with the press. If he sees there's some problem with the club, he always says that in the press. And I honestly think that's a bad thing, the players feel the heat as well. They probably think they are not good enough for the team. They probably won't give 100%, as we discussed in the last episode as well, And the manager saying the team is not good enough, then why would the players be giving 100%?
Yeah.
But that's how he is, that's how he always has been. So I wouldn't read too much into it. I think he just says that because so Levi knows that what he feels about the team, but that's not going to
You
change
see
anything.
the honeymoon part between Conte and Spurs is now it has come to an end, and there have been these things popping out. They have lost 3 back-to-back league games, if I'm not wrong, right?
They did lose. I mean, they did lose the last one. I don't think they lost. I think they drew the one before that.
Yeah, they lost 3 back-to-back.
Yeah,
they lost
could
against
be true.
League games. They won a game in FA Cup.
Oh yeah. They lost to Chelsea, Southampton, and Wolves. Yes, that's right. 3 back.
Yeah. So apparently, I feel Conte has found out what it's like to be at first. So maybe this transfer window was a great chance for him to make some additions. He did make actually a couple of additions, but now giving excuses like we have lost 4 players and we have got only 2. I don't think this goes this won't go down very well with the players. Let's see how things turn out.
No, to be fair, I mean, when you won Traore and you won Kessie and then you end up with Bentancur and Kulusevski, maybe he wanted those players who would be here for the present. I guess that's how Conte always works. I don't think he likes developing players. I think he likes the fact that he can get ready-made players and he likes to change and switch. Anyway, Sagar, if Spurs don't make the top 4, do you see Conte saying, bye-bye, I'm done, I'm leaving? Or do you think he'll stick it out?
Yes, that could be a possibility because he won the league title with Inter Milan and immediately he left. So yes, he's very unpredictable. Plus the possible opening up at United could tempt him. I don't think our board would go for him.
No,
but yes, maybe that could be a possibility. I actually don't want him at United.
He could go. He could go to PSG because their manager will be fired as soon as they go out of the Champions.
Yeah, but they have their eyes set upon Zidane, right? So
yeah, but I think Zidane wants a French job. It's a whole mishmash, right? Yeah, Zidane wants a French job.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean that's a
lots of rumors going on. So
Yeah, we don't know. I have a very good on my mind scenario which I'll play later. But anyway, we'll come to that. Gaurav, so now here's one interesting thought. Speaking of things, there's a certain club in red that needs a striker, and there's a certain striker that's waiting there who's totally dying to get out of that club. He wants out of that club. Do you see this summer that Harry Kane will go? You've not made the Champions League. We had Conte. We still didn't make the Champions League. And will he be trying to push over to Manchester United? He wanted to go to Manchester, but we'll go to the other Manchester this time because United, well, Rangnick has said they're going to sign a striker. It's one that it makes sense from United's perspective. England international, England captain. Someone who's obviously got a big brand around him. So, do you see Harry Kane and United maybe pulling strings to try to get him there?
I think so. I don't think City is going to sign him.
The train is gone. There's no way they're going to sign him.
Yeah. Even if they don't sign Haaland, I don't think they're going for Kane. That train is left. But the problem is, Kane is what? He's like 29.
That doesn't matter.
29. Yeah, that doesn't.
We send 35-year-old strikers, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but the problem is Levi will be asking 100 million again for him. I read today only that City offered 80 million plus 20 million in bonuses, and he said straight up front that I want 120 million, and excluding bonuses and all. So I don't think he's going to sell him for anything less than 95 million. So that is an issue. Do you pay that much money for a 28, 29-year striker who has had injury issues, for the last couple of seasons as well?
Well, I mean, the question will come down to how many T-shirts he can sell and how many likes he can generate. And I'm being serious. I'm not even joking here. It's funny if it was not true, but yes, those are things that they will look at. They look at those kind of factors, right? So if he has got that value, then they will probably go for him. I have a feeling Declan Rice is the priority. Again, another 80 million, and then they'll probably sign Kane as well for 100 million, because I think he can come for 100 million. I don't think they'll need to. The question, of course, is whether Levy will let him go, because apparently he hates United. So will he let Kane go to Manchester United? I think they'll spend that money, and obviously then ignore everything else. But yeah, that's what my feeling is. That I was just thinking about it because United need a striker, and there's Harry Kane waiting, to try to get out of there. But anyway, let's talk about Manchester City now. I think that's enough for Spurs. We'll talk about Manchester City. Again, a juggernaut that just keeps rolling. 5-0 against Sporting Lisbon, looked pretty good. Also had a pretty comfortable win as well before that in the league as well. So they look fairly settled. I guess the only question, Gaurav, I mean, they don't really have a midweek commitment. So what is their strongest lineup at this point, Gaurav? I think that's the question. What is City's strongest lineup? Does it have Jack Grealish in it? Doesn't? I mean, I know he's injured. He's not going to play anyway. But does City's strongest lineup have Jack Grealish on it, in it, or do you think they're better off without him?
The problem is Sterling's form. The kind of form he's not going to be dropped. And you have Mahrez on the right wing that Pep isn't going to drop in, and you have to play Foden as well, and he has been playing really good as a false nine. So the only place for Jack Grealish is on the left wing, and that's only going to happen if Sterling is out of form, and I don't see that happening for in the near future. He scored a really good goal against Sporting, so at current moment, I don't think Grealish is going to start in be in their starting 11.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Sagar, we'll talk about centre back pairings. Do you like? I mean, it's like choosing between 3 very, very expensive bottles of wine. So you're not going to go wrong anyway. But anyway, do you prefer Diaz and Laporte? Do you prefer Laporte and Stones, or do you prefer Diaz and Stones? What do you prefer as your centre back?
Actually, either of them, whichever pairing you choose, they are not gonna concede a goal. That's a fact. City's defense, not just defense, City's entire team is like a very well-oiled machinery. Absolutely flawless. I hate to admit this, but that's a fact. You absolutely cannot, point out any flaw in the City team right now. So it doesn't matter whether it's a Diaz Stones pairing or maybe Laporte and Stones. I don't think it really matters. They are not gonna concede in any case.
Well, I mean, otherwise, I don't think Spurs have enough to trouble City anyway. So for this one,
that's the whole problem. Yeah,
it's rare that the team has 3 good centre halves. And normally teams have 2 good centre halves and they have an adequate backup. It's very rare that you have like 3 very good centre halves all playing in the same team and all happy apparently to play in that team. So it's interesting to know. But
and here we have 4 centre backs and still we haven't yet figured out When do we
That's
start?
just I don't even
Yeah,
know.
let's not get there. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's not get there.
Yeah. Sorry, Gaurav, were you saying something? I thought, okay.
Yeah, I personally think that Laporte and GS pairing is, brings that balance to the team, especially Laporte being a left-footed. So, DS get to play on the right, which I think he prefers. He did struggle when he played against Stones. Like, pairing was really good, but he did show us, sort of an issue playing on that left center back role. He doesn't want to use his weaker foot, and that was a flaw that was being targeted for some games. So I prefer, Laporte and Diaz at the moment.
I think it makes sense as well. You start Laporte because Cancelo plays on the left, but he's right-footed. So
Yeah.
then it makes, if you have 4 right-footed defenders, it makes your defense to right-footed. So having 1 left-footed defender at least helps you cover in that way. So
Yeah.
that does bring a little bit more balance, as you say. Otherwise, you have 4 right-footed defenders. Across your back, it's not always the best thing. So yeah, for that reason, maybe. But yeah, as Sagar said, it's absolutely true. It doesn't matter who you play. City find a way to win anyway. So yeah, it's like it's another one that's coming in the bag. Anyway, I mean, there's what's Sagar? What's his score prediction for this one?
I think 3-0 for City.
3-0 for City. Yeah, Gaurav.
I think 2-0 to City.
And see, Gaurav always goes 1 goal lower than what Sagar goes. Sagar said, right? He said 5-0 and 4-0. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a question of how many City will score, right? Because they will win. It's just a matter of how many they will score. Because I don't see Spurs. I feel Spurs are too demoralized. Yeah, it just makes sense. You know what? Yeah, I'll say 3-0 as well. I think 3-0 makes sense. 4-0 might be a bit too much. So 3-0 is probably. I don't think City do 4-0. They score 3 and then they go, yeah, that's enough. Okay, let's now keep the ball. Let's play with the ball now a little bit. Yeah, we've got our 3 goals. It's okay. That's what
That's what happened against in the Sporting game, right? They were 4-0 up in the first half, and I was expecting like a 7-0 rout, but they just scored 1 goal in the second half. Just scored 1 goal.
Yeah. No, Pep said that he wanted more. So I don't know. Maybe Spurs he said they can still play better. So I don't know how much more better you can 5-0. So
Pep said he was not happy with the first half performance.
I said, there you go. Now,
was he expecting 7-0 in the first half?
I know. Conte is going to be thinking, what the hell does he mean? And what does he expect from me? And the Spurs are going to be, I don't know, like lambs to slaughter, I guess. I don't know. Maybe, you probably have to play like you've got 3 defenders and maybe three central defensive midfielders as well. Maybe play like 3-3-2 or something like that. Let's just have can you play a 3-3-2? No, the math is not right on that one. No, maybe like a 3-3, maybe 2 and then 1 or something. I don't know. Yeah, 3-3-2-2 or something. Yeah, just try to have as many defenders as you can and hope that they can concede less. But anyway, all right. And on that note, because it's almost at the end of our show, I think it's been a fantastic watch. So final questions for you guys. Who do you think, for those who do their fantasy Premier League stuff, who do you think is a player to watch out for?
I think Salah.
That you would pick for your fantasy team.
Salah. They are playing Norwich and Liverpool always score 5-6 goals against them. So I think Salah.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. So Salah. Salah.
Yeah, Salah for me too. I have made him my captain for 2 reasons. They are playing Norwich. They also have 1 more game. It's a double game week for them. Yeah. So Salah is certainly someone who will give you lots of points.
Okay, so, that's a little bit of a cheating because they have 2 games, so yeah, you pick Salah. But okay,
well, this was the perfect time to play the wild card because there are 3, I think 6 or 7 teams, 6 or 8 teams who are having a double game week. So yeah,
makes sense. Well, you know what? I will stay from Liverpool. I will treat this game as its own game, and for that reason, I will say because Wolves are playing Leicester City. Pick a defender from Wolves. They don't score goals, and Leicester City have some problems scoring them these days. So yeah, pick a team. Actually, they concede a lot. Leicester actually have a problem conceding goals. They concede goals from the most 5 minutes straight from kickoff and things like that. They're struggling. So pick a player from Wolves, and I'm not just saying this because I want Wolves to lose so they don't get into that top 4 race. But pick a player from Wolves. That's my prediction. Yeah. Pick a player from there. Pick a player from City. I think they maybe pick the Mahrez.
Actually, from the Wolves team, Raul Jimenez could really be a surprise pick because he has got some form recently. He scored a couple of goals. So I think he could be one to watch out for this week.
Yeah, I'll pick Mahrez. You know what? Pick Riyad Mahrez. Pick Riyad Mahrez. You do that because then at least if nothing else, you can jinx it a little
It's
bit.
always tough to pick a player from the City team and make him a captain, because you never know who's gonna end up scoring goals for City. It's a
How
very
they play.
tricky,
You never know.
you
Pep
know.
rotates the squad. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've heard that. Yes. But anyway, all right. On that note, thank you so much, Gaurav. Thank you so much, Sagar, for joining me today. All the best to your teams and for your weekends. I hope the games go as you expect, as you plan. And always great to have you on the show and hear your insights. Thank you so much, guys. If you did enjoy this show, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We're just about getting close to 500 likes on Facebook. So as I've said, yeah, please do remember to hit the subscribe button, get us there. And we're also very close to 150 subscribers on YouTube. So please do like our channel there as well, so we can get those numbers up. We really appreciate your support, and we can then keep producing such great content that you would like to listen to. So on that note, enjoy. Also share your comments. Let us know what you think about the games that are coming up. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think of the whole United captaincy issue and about Spurs and their manager meltdown that's happening? So let us know as well. In the meantime, have a good weekend. Enjoy, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care. Bye bye.